There's a certain quietness you've carried for a long time, a way of moving through the world without feeling the need to place yourself on display. And if you trace that instinct back far enough, you might notice it didn't begin with social media at all. It began in childhood, in those early moments when being visible felt complicated, when attention came with expectations, or when your inner world felt too delicate to hand over to anyone else. Without realizing it, you learned to protect yourself by staying just slightly out of view. This is how a child disappears, not through dramatic withdrawal, but through small choices to stay inward, to keep the most tender parts of themselves unspoken. You grew up learning that silence could be safer than exposure. Maybe you were the one who sensed the emotional temperature of a room before you spoke, the one who learned to read faces, tones, and shifts in atmosphere long before you understood why. Hypervigilance doesn't always look like fear. Sometimes it looks like restraint. Sometimes it looks like a child who learns to hold their thoughts quietly because sharing them feels like stepping into a spotlight they never asked for. And what saved you then now imprisons you, shaping an adult who feels a subtle discomfort at the idea of being seen too clearly. As you got older, this instinct didn't vanish. It simply adapted. Social media arrived, and with it came a world built on visibility, on constant self-presentation, on the idea that your life should be curated and shared. But for someone who learned early on that privacy was a form of safety, the idea of posting yourself can feel strangely foreign. It's not that you dislike connection. It's that connection for you has always been something earned slowly, quietly, through presence rather than performance. You don't feel the need to announce your life because your life has always unfolded internally, in the spaces no one else sees. There's also the matter of identity. People who don't post often have a sense of self that feels too fluid, too private, or too sacred to pin down in a caption. You've spent years building an inner world that doesn't need external confirmation. And while others may share to feel understood, you've learned that understanding rarely comes from visibility. It comes from depth, from the rare moments when someone notices the things you never said out loud. Not because you were weak, but because you were human. And your nervous system learned long ago that being misunderstood can feel more painful than being unseen. For some, the absence from social media is a quiet rebellion against the pressure to perform. For others, it's a continuation of an old survival strategy, one that kept you safe when you were young and still shapes your choices now. You might feel a subtle tension when you imagine posting something, as if you're offering a piece of yourself to a crowd that hasn't earned it. You might worry that once something leaves your hands, it no longer belongs to you. Or maybe you simply feel that your life is meant to be lived, not displayed, and that the most meaningful moments lose something when they're turned outward. And yet, beneath all of this, there's a softer truth. You don't stay private because you have nothing to share. You stay private because so much of what you carry feels real and fragile and deeply personal. You've spent years protecting the parts of yourself that were never met with the gentleness they needed. You've learned to hold your experiences close, not out of secrecy, but out of respect for the depth they hold. So when you don't post, it isn't emptiness, it's intention. It's the quiet continuation of a pattern that once kept you safe and now simply feels natural. And maybe as you sit with that understanding, you notice something loosening inside you. Not a push to change, but a recognition of why you are the way you are. A soft realization that your silence has always been more than absence. It has been a way of staying whole in a world that asks you to be visible before you're ready.